Because it's the most beautiful time of the week. Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis. It's new comic book day for me. This is the second time I'm filming this. The first time, I don't know what happened. The audio video was all off and ragged, and I sounded like Max Headroom. For you kids out there who don't know who Max Headroom is, go look it up. So these won't be quite the surprise for me because I've already looked at them once, and as I go through them again, and may make the video even shorter this time because of that. Anyway, let's talk the books I got. I got 18 books this week. That seems to now be a small week for me, which is ridiculous, but that's what it is for right now. Anyway, let's jump right into it. Detective Comics, issue number 935. Really enjoyed the first issue of this. I'm excited to see what goes on with these characters. I may actually right now like this book better than Batman. Of course, we're only one issue in for each one. I think over time that may change because of the writers that are involved. But I'm going to enjoy this now for what it is and not worry about how an arc or a storyline may end with the writer on this issue, which sometimes I have problems with. But we'll see. Really enjoying it anyway. Eddie Burrows' art is always fun, great four-color kind of superhero artist, and lots of great characters that I love. So looking forward to that. Doctor Strange, issue number 9. Last Days of Magic Part 4. It seems like the Last Days of Magic thing has been hanging around for a very long time. And I kind of want to see this end maybe and then see what happens after that. But I really enjoy the book visually. Visually, it's really cool. Pacheco's art is awesome in this. So looking forward to that. Is that our normal artist on the book? Yeah, that's the normal artist on the book with an array of inkers on it. But I visually like the book. I like the way the villains look. There's kind of Kirby-esque style to them that's pretty cool. So I do like those aspects of it. So a book that has not been affected by the crummy, Civil War 2 stuff. The Flash, issue number 1. First issue of the Flash proper. We'll see where this goes. For me, this book will be on a short leash once my deep discount that I get is over with. I'm just not a huge Flash fan as an individual character. Don't mind him in the Justice League. It's just one of a number of characters that I just have a hard time being excited about. Didn't really care for the Rebirth issue all that much, so we'll see how the actual Flash number 1 ends up being. We'll give it a shot. Give it a try. I'll get plenty of them before I get it canceled, to give it a try, if nothing else. Ms. Marvel, issue number 8, of course, burdened with the whole Civil War thing. Hopefully G. Willow Wilson can give us a story that is central and significant to the character, despite being tied into an event that I don't care about at all. Kind of like the way this cover looks, besides the Civil War, or in spite of the Civil War 2 logo on there. It looks like an old propaganda poster, so be curious to see what that happens. I am curious to see how Kamala works in the whole Civil War thing, just because, kind of her idol and who she names herself after is on one end of the spectrum of my understanding of what the Civil War is. And then, of course, Tony Stark, somebody who she works with all the time in the all-new, all-different Avengers, or is that, I think that's what that Avenger group is called. Tony Stark's kind of the guy that she discusses with all the time, so be curious to see on that, where that lends to. Power Man and Iron Fist, issue number 5. This is always kind of a fun book. So different artist on this issue, but I just like the writing. I like all the fiddle faddle that goes on in it. So that'll be fun. Got some hashtagging going on there. Not sure the WH4H. So Heroes for Hire. Heroes for Hire. I don't know what the W stands for. But it looks like a radio station, which I think is curious. I mean, I know radio stations are still around and whatnot, but do we really all listen to radio station, or is that an antiquated kind of a thing? I mean, are radio stations significant to a community? I guess I don't know. I mean, we have radio stations here, but rarely do we listen to them, I don't think. So yeah. Got Black Road, issue number 3. Yeah, issue number 3. Out Come the Wolves. Really enjoyed the setup of this book. We've gotten a kind of a brief understanding of what our 2 main characters are and kind of what they're about. And now we're actually going to start down the road. Looking forward to that adventure and seeing what all it entails. Gary Brown does a great job of drawing the kind of snowscapes and that sort of stuff. So looking forward to all that art. Dave McCraig's coloring on it is always really sharp. And I'm just curious to see where Wood takes the story. Bitch Planet issue number 8, right? Yeah, number 8. I always like Bitch Planet. I enjoy it. I don't remember if this is part of the same arc or if this is a beginning of something new with our President Bitch. I remember what happened in the story, but I can't remember if it ended a particular thing to where we'd be starting something new, or if this is in the middle of something. That's the one problem with the book is release schedule is very slow, and so it has kind of impacted the feeling immersed in what's going on in the story. But I still really like it. I think it's a smart book. I think it has interesting commentary on society and whatnot, regardless of whether you read the back matter in the books or not. It's still all there, and I'm just kind of curious to see what happens with these characters and what they have planned and whatnot. So Aquaman issue number 1, another character who is on a short leash once the my deal goes away on the comic, because I just am never that enthused by Aquaman. I didn't care for the Rebirth issue a whole lot. It was kind of a rehashing of what happened for Aquaman New 52 in this kind of stilted narration. So I wasn't too excited about the book because of that going into this. Same writer, different artist. We got Walker on art now. Curious to see what that ends up look like. I've seen some gorgeous pages by him. So maybe it ends up being yawn. Maybe it ends up being awesome. We'll see. I'm going to give it a shot, clearly. Check it out. Give it an honest read and see what I think. Action Comics, issue number 958. Enjoyed the first issue, the kind of coming out of this new / old Superman. I like the conflict between him and Lex Luthor. That's what I want to read out of this book. Don't really want to read the Doomsday stuff. It just seems like Doomsday has to be in all the Superman comics now, and that seems unfortunate to me. There's plenty of other villains and other situations that could happen. So I don't know. We'll give it a read and see. Not totally enthused by this either. Pretty Deadly, issue number 10. I believe this is probably about the end of this arc set in World War I. I've really enjoyed it. The book is so visually stimulating. Emma Reyes doing pencils and Jody Valeri's art on it just makes it eye candy and an experience to read based on that. I like the story and the characters that are in it. Also, I like the kind of folklorishness to Death, to Jenny, and to Alice, and some of the other characters that are in this that are kind of mythological in a sense, and just see where the book goes. Like I said, I continue to really enjoy it. Last issue of Robin, Son of Batman. Odd to be seeing these books that aren't part of the Rebirth still kicking around. I know there's a few more issues of some other books also. This is just going to end whatever it ends. I kind of like this dynamic with these characters. Even with, Ray Fox writing it, and he's basically just filling it out. He's just ending it to end it kind of a thing. Hasn't been horribly bad, but it hasn't been really enthralling either. So I'll read this and be happy that it's done as we move to the Rebirth stuff. Rumble, issue number 11. Super excited to see Rumble back. Looking forward to starting this again. Wonderful James Hearn artwork. Dave Stewart on colors. John Arcudi doing the writing on it. I think we're going to explore some new stuff in here. We're going to explore this character some more. She is a translator of ancient texts And so I'm curious to see how she plays into this whole, how she plays into this whole thing, and what we're going to see next. This character in the background has been kind of a villain, or at least been in conflict with our scarecrow deity that's in this rock. And yeah, always a great fun to read that. Lots of good action. Another visually stimulating book, or that's the reason I picked it up. The previews I saw of it was very visually stimulating artwork. I love this cover. It's very striking. This elongated character here, this kind of werewolfish looking almost thing, rolling a skull. Just love the way it looks to my eye. It's very stimulating as far as that goes. I have no idea what the writing is actually going to be like in this per se. All I did when I saw the previews was kind of flip through it to get a visually, what does it look like? Like it well enough. I'm not going to read preview pages, but I'm going to read them here. So I'll just read them here. She-Wolf. This is spell number 1, shape-shifting. Rich Tommaso. I haven't read any of his other work. I know he does Dark Corridor. Something about that didn't appeal to me at the time when it was coming out, so I did not get it. But really looking forward to checking this out, and at least if nothing else, be visually stimulated by what's there. Next up, it's the final issue of the Suicide Squad Most Wanted, Deadshot and Katana, issue 6. Looking forward to seeing how these stories end. I've really liked the Deadshot. I'm really looking forward to seeing if Buccellato can end the story, land this arc well. In the past, when he's been teamed up with Francis Manapul and stuff, I haven't always been excited with how story arcs end. Maybe that's partially due to the fact I just tend to be hard on endings. I think they're hard to do, and I wish more of them felt successful to me. So I'm hoping that's the case with this. Looking forward to reading the Katana part of it too. I was most excited about the Katana when this thing first started. Less so now as Barr, who is one of the co-creators of Katana, kind of falls into some old habits, which makes this book read like a early to mid 80s kind of a story. So it's antiquated in a way. That's not really a word. And it feels dated. And I don't always enjoy the stuff that feels dated. I have a hard time embracing it as nostalgia, because for me, I can go back and embrace the original stuff for the nostalgia. When I feel the need to check out that stuff, I can just go check it out as opposed to read a reproduction. But yeah, still looking forward to that. Looking forward to checking out how that ends and whatnot. Red Thorn, one of our Vertigo books that came out in the October, November, December releases of a whole bunch of books. Some of those books are gone by the wayside. That I actually enjoyed. This is a book that I don't enjoy that much. Red Thorn, issue number 8. Though I am curious to see how the story's going to go to now. We've kind of a line has been drawn in the sand between some characters, and I'm curious to see what that ends up playing out like. But as a whole, I haven't really been that enthralled with the whole Red Thorn thing. So yeah, we'll see what it ends up being like. As soon as the deal off of Vertigo Books bundles quit, this is a book that will get dropped, because it would have been dropped if I wasn't getting basically 50% off of them. Anyway, another book that's ending this week, Cry Havoc, issue number 6. Love that Sean Phillips cover there, the big old 6, and the design of that, the smartness of this, 2 characters, character in the background and then the character in the foreground here. You're basically getting to see her in her monster form and in her human form, which is pretty cool. Kind of really hoping the trades sell like hotcakes, so we'll get more of these things. That's the only way it's going to happen. I'm curious to see how this all gets tied up that we've had so far, and does it leave itself room to do something else with, or is it truly just going to be done, which is probably the case. But yeah, really smart and interesting, really written by Simon Spurrier. Always love Ryan Kelly's artwork, and there's 3 colors in this book, and each of them kind of knock it out of the park with their own thing, so that's pretty cool. Wonder Woman issue number 1. Excited to get into this, to get into the meat of the story, see what we're gonna get here. I've heard some rumblings on the internet, waiting to get my book about it. I know lots of people loved it. There's some kind of didn't feel, some people didn't feel like there was enough there. So I'm looking forward to reading it myself and seeing what it's like, seeing what I get out of it. I have 100% confidence in Greg Rucka, the writer, on telling us a great story. It just may be longer and go and explore more things because he's got more room to do that, with it being this double ship thing. So yeah, I'm just excited to get into Wonder Woman. This is what made me excited about the whole Rebirth stuff in the first place, was knowing that we're going to get this creative team, Lehman Sharp doing some of it, Nicholas Scott doing some of it. So yeah, super excited about that. And finally, of my 18 comics, The Ultimates number 8. Clearly a Civil War tie-in. This is the last issue of The Ultimates I'm getting. I do not like the tie-ins to this stuff at all. As a whole, I loathe tie-ins. I'm not interested in Civil War one iota. And I don't really feel like that they've taken these characters and done stuff with them that I really thought was truly interesting. It's kind of flirted with some stuff, and then immediately this gets tied into the whole Marvel event stuff, and so I don't enjoy it for that, even though it has plenty of characters in it who I do enjoy and am interested in. So done with that, as Marvel tends to make it easier for me to drop the books as they get mired down into events, and I don't want to read a bunch of event stuff. It's got to have some other extra special stuff going on for me to hang on to it. That's why I'm still getting the Spider-Woman, and I'm still getting the Ms. Marvels, even though they're tying into the events, just because for me, those books are so strong, the characters are so strongly written, that I'm hoping that they can survive these things for me. Anyway, that's it. Hopefully this video took. If it didn't, it's probably going up anyway in whatever bad form that is, and I apologize if that's the case. If everything looks great, I don't apologize, and I will see you Saturday for Comic Book Roundtable, where I'll get together with some people and we'll talk some comic books. At any rate, have a great week, everybody.